question from our friend Christy here, who says that she wants to get into jiu-jitsu. She's been interested in it a while. She's ready to take the leap, but she's not sure which gym to choose. She has 3 gyms out in her area, and she basically wants to know if I have any advice on how to decide which one to go to. Now, I asked her, why are you wanting to train? Because if you know the why, you can find the how. And so she says that she used to play soccer in college. She used to compete in Olympic weightlifting, and she was so used to challenging herself, right? She is now a mother of 2, got 2 boys, and she says that now that they're 6 and 2, she's got a little bit of a rhythm going, but again, she's directed all of her energy. There's some noise coming over there. We've got the heating and air guy here today, so I'm gonna move over here so that doesn't pick up. We'll move it right here. You can see, this way you can see like both sides of the gym. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. Have you ever seen the gym? I'll give you a quick tour. We're having a field trip today. Sorry, Christy. Your question has to wait. So we got, this section. This is where like we do some of our training on this mat. We got our boxing area back there. We got our main mat. This is the one that's got all the, we got to get some new mats soon. They're getting all beat up. Had those things since 2009. And then here is our CrossFit strength and conditioning area. So we'll do the video from right here. We'll just do it from here. I imagine that again, you've got that sort of that routine going with the kids, and now you're ready to get back to challenging yourself. And before I get into sort of like how to choose the gym, one of the cool things that jiu-jitsu offers people is sort of a new beginning in different ways. Again, you know, as people reach different parts in their life, sometimes they're looking for something new, right? And jiu-jitsu has a way of attracting a lot of people that are looking for that. Like we get a lot of guys that have been, you know, or women too, that have been recently divorced, and they're just kind of finding themselves, right? And they're dealing with a lot of stress and, you know, sort of inner turmoil, and they have it becomes an outlet for it so they can sort through everything else. We get young guys that come in that really don't know who they are, and they're trying to figure themselves out. We have people that, again, like, are like yourself, that used to be athletes, and they're like, I need a challenge. I need something, at least on a regular basis, where I can like exert that energy out. Because again, there's something about you, because not everybody needs that, but there's some people that have that feeling, that charged up energy where they've got to release it in some way. And if you don't get it, you go nuts, right? And so I know that I'm that way. But to get to your question as far as how to choose the right gym for you, that's, again, for the reasons that you sent me in the message, you know, as far as like learning and, you know, being able to challenge yourself and, you know, getting the basic information that you need to know as far as like how to like not be completely like helpless if you're in a, you know, bad situation. Most jiu-jitsu gyms will probably be sufficient at that, right? You know, whether they say that they're this or that or whatever their little shtick is, most gyms will probably be sufficient at that at desensitizing you to these stressful situations of, you know, of a confrontation, right? That's what jiu-jitsu is. It's what combat sports are, right? If we use them for those reasons, it's basically a desensitizing yourself to stress, right? And that's what, you know, like the stress that can come from violence. And so most of them will be able to do that. And the idea of learning, you're going to get that from most gyms. Now, what I would do is I would first find the gyms in your area, okay? After you find those gyms, go to each one. Go meet the people that are there. Go talk to the owners or the gym managers, whoever's running the gym that day, and get a feel for what the gym's like. Get them to take you on a gym tour. Check it out. See what it looks like. Is the place clean? Is it filthy? Is it like inviting? Do you feel like there's a good vibe when you come in, right? And I would sort of suggest that you do it. You don't even have to do a free class. You can do a free class. Most gyms offer that. But come in and do the tour when there's like something happening, right? Because to me, like when you go into the gym and you see what the environment's like on a day-to-day basis, when there's people there, that'll give you a good read on the gym. Now, the reason why, to me, knowing what the gym's going to be like when students are there is so important is because, to me, the thing that is going to allow you to get the most out of this thing is more about consistency, long-term consistency, and your ability to stick with it. And to me, what has kept me coming, and to me, what keeps a lot of our students coming is the community and the people inside of it, right? You got to find a place where you can sort of grow your roots. Right, I've talked to several people that like say that one of the things that's kept them coming over the years when they're, you know, maybe struggling to learn stuff, or maybe they're just a little tired or something, is like they feel there's an accountability aspect where, man, I can't let my training partners down. They're getting ready for tournaments, or I said that I was going to be there, you know, in this day to train with them. I got to be there. Or in some cases where you just get excited to see your friends. It becomes like both a, you know, learning thing in this environment to exercise, but also like a social aspect. If you were on a soccer team, then you remember that. You remember like being in, you know, these hard practices with your friends, but it was fun because you're with your friends and you're doing it together. And so training is like that in a lot of ways because you get to see the people there and you get to know them and you become bonded to them because of all this stuff that you're doing together. And so I think that you really have to find a place that you mesh with. Now, let's say that you find a gym, you try to trial class, everything seems to be on the up and up, you enjoyed your experience there, and you're ready to sort of take the next step. Well, do a search on it. You probably won't find anything because there's fewer gyms that are like sketchy than others, but do a search on it. Do like a search like on Reddit or Google, because there are some gyms out there that are going to be like sketchy gyms. Heck, you can send it to me. If you find a gym that you like, I don't mind. I did a question for you here today. So if you find a gym that you like, shoot me like their webpage and I'll tell you if it's legit or not. I can find out. That's no big deal. But check it out and see if you can find information on whether or not that gym is a legitimate gym. And the reason I say that is because there's nothing more unfortunate than if you get locked into a gym that's like sketchy or that it's not legitimate. Like, so for instance, years ago, there were a couple gyms in our area that were not legitimate. These gyms in this area were not ran by legitimate jiu-jitsu black belts. They would say that they were like a black belt, but they were very ambiguous as far as saying what that black belt was in, but they would advertise that they would teach jiu-jitsu, Brazilian Jiu-jitsu. So therefore, it's kind of like you just assume, oh, it's a Brazilian Jiu-jitsu black belt. I remember calling one of these guys out in public, and I felt very strongly about that because to me, you're being very criminal if you trick people like that. Because again, people can say it's not so much about I've done this or that or whatever, but if someone's coming to you for something and you're basically giving them false ideas of who you are and what you're capable of or what you possess personally, then you're being criminal. You're lying to them and you're not giving them the truth, and that's bad. Because let's say if you were going to go to the doctor, you're not going to go to you want to go to a doctor who's a real doctor. You don't want to go to someone that's like lying to you, right? I mean, that could be really bad in a lot of ways. And if you go to someone who's supposed to teach you how to compete or teach you how to train and does this in an improper way, one, you could get injured in training because you're not being trained by a professional. One, if you go to a competition, you could just lose, and that's discouraging. Two or three, I'm just losing my numbers. Three, you could go to or you could be in a situation where you might need to defend yourself, and if you were not taught the proper skills, you won't be able to adequately do that. So it's very important that you find a gym that is legitimate and trained or taught by an actual trained instructor. And so you can do this by simply, you can do some searches. Most of the time you won't find anything, but every now and then there's been a couple gyms out there that have been sketchy. And the bad thing is that when you get sucked into those sorts of gyms, like the guys that were in town that were sucked into these gyms, these illegitimate gyms, it sucks because then you've basically made friends in these places and you sort of become, it's the law of primacy, right? It's the first thing you ever experienced. So you become kind of attached to it. And then when you have to pull away from it, it a lot of times takes a while, and it can be very painful to leave and go to a gym that's actually like a real gym or a real like training environment. So I would say that you want to make sure that you have a good community there to keep you going, so that you can get pulled into and become a part of. And you also want to make sure that when you're training, you find a gym that is legitimate and real and taught by real instructors that have some sort of lineage in jiu-jitsu, not some made up BS that they decided to create so they could try to rob people of their money and not give them what they were supposed to get. So, Christy, I hope this video helps you. Thank you so much for the question. And again, if you need help finding a gym, or if you found the gym, if you need help sort of seeing if it's legitimate, just shoot me a message and I'll check it out for you. Thank you.